Welcome to Breakdown. JJ, basketball been all over my television set. I'm so excited. The Final Four starts Saturday. Arkansas Razorbacks made it to the Final Four. What's the day? April 1st. April Fool. I guess they did not make it. But you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe one day soon. But
30 years ago they did.
but everything else is right. Right for the pickings. Sweet 16, Thursday and Friday. Elite Eight was Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about it a little bit. What do you want to start with the Sweet 16 first?
Yeah, we can.
SEC team?
I did want to mention this is the 30-year anniversary of Arkansas's national championship.
Woo pig suey.
But since they're not in the tournament any longer, we can talk about the teams that are still in
I
there.
like your shirt, your jersey.
Yeah. Everybody remembers number 24.
I know.
All right.
JJ, that was his name. JJ, SEC Big Ten, Sweet 16. Both teams had two teams in the Sweet 16. They both had one team to win in the Sweet 16.
Yeah. Fortunately, both those teams that won the Sweet 16 also won in the Elite Eight.
Okay, yeah. Illinois and Iowa State. I thought that was going to be a good game. Illinois pretty much dominated for most of the game.
Yeah, so statistically, the best offense in the country was Illinois, using advanced metrics, and Iowa State, has statistically the best defense in the country, and it was a matchup of diverging styles and contrasts, and at the end of the day, they just could not handle one Terrence Shannon Jr.
For sure. The other Sweet 16 team, Purdue, they beat Gonzaga.
Yeah.
For the second time this year.
Second time.
Made it look easy.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it was close in the first half, but Purdue was able to pull away when they wanted to.
Let's talk about the SEC. Elite Eight, Tennessee and Creighton.
Yeah, that was a good Sweet 16 matchup.
The most intriguing matchup to me among those Big Ten SEC schools was Alabama-Clemson. Alabama was the underdog in that game. They ended up winning. This was in LA. The thing about that game that kind of stood out for me, that going into the day before that contest, tickets were going for $30. Not too many fans in LA were that interested in Alabama and Clemson, it appeared. But as the game actually started, the stadium was a little bit more filled than it was predicted to be.
Yeah, LA is known for showing up a little bit fashionably late. But it was a football matchup, but it was on the hardwood, and two teams that played differing styles of basketball, but very aesthetically pleasing styles to watch. And Alabama it was just a day where they were making their threes.
And I kind of jumped the gun a little bit because I neglected to do, that was the Elite Eight. Alabama,
yeah, that was the Elite Eight matchup.
The Sweet 16 was Alabama and North Carolina.
Yeah, that was...
And Alabama was the underdog in that game as well.
Yeah, that was the game that they were underdog in.
Yeah.
The Clemson game, they were a slight favorite.
That's true. True. So...
RJ Davis went 0 for 9 from 3. The same day that his former backcourt mate, Caleb Love, also went 0 for 9 from 3. It was the first time two guys, any day of the tournament, were that inefficient. Shot that many threes and missed all of them. So,
okay, JJ, Elite Eight. Let's get to it.
Let's get to the Elite Eight.
UConn and Illinois. What you got to say about UConn? Going up against the number one most efficient offense in the country.
Yeah, they were going up against the number one offense in the country. But I think Illinois was a little bit... I think they went into that game not particularly understanding how the differences between UConn's 7-foot-plus center and Purdue's 7-foot-plus center. To me, it looked like their game plan that they used for Donovan Clingan was the same type thing that they would have used for Zach Edey. And that just did not get the job done.
Well, I remember at one point in time the score was 23-23.
Yeah, it was. It was. And then one team went on a 30-0 run, which I had not seen before.
30-0 run. That's more than impressive.
Yeah, it was 53-23 at some point in the second half, and that's what UConn can do to you. They just made the driving lanes impossible for, you know, for Terrence Shannon. I mean, he's a one man fast break, but he could not get to the rim. He had got blocked like 2 or 3 times against Donovan Clingan. Damask led them with 17 points on pretty efficient shooting, but he couldn't really do his thing on the low block. He was able to make a lot of threes, but
Let's talk about the Purdue Tennessee game. Purdue beat Tennessee for the second time this year. So they beat Gonzaga for the second time in the Sweet 16, and in the Elite Eight they beat Tennessee for the second time. How good is Purdue?
yeah, that was a game for the ages. Zach Edey had 40 points. He did get to shoot 22 free throws along the way. But that was a really good matchup because you had a really great college player in Zach Edey and a great college player in Dalton Connect, who's probably going to finish runner-up to Zach Edey for National Player of the Year.
Okay.
But he's going to be like a top 10 to top 15 draft pick in the NBA. So like that was it was a really exciting matchup, and for it to finish the way it did with Zach Edey getting the block late at the rim was an exciting game.
The big man dominated that game. The big man dominated the UConn Illinois game. We'll talk more about future games in a moment, but let's close out the Elite Eight with non-SEC, non-Big Ten team. Let's go to the ACC.
Okay, we can go to the ACC.
Duke and North Carolina State.
Yep.
North Carolina State's 11 seed. Duke was going into that game was a 4 seed. What's your take on North Carolina State and their players, their big man?
DJ Burns, I assume who you're talking about.
Yes, that's
North
the big
Carolina
man.
State in this run, they to end the regular season, they lost 4 straight games, and then they went on a run where they won 7 straight games to get to where we're at right now. And honestly, Oakland and Virginia were like their 2 hardest matchups. And if a guy from Virginia doesn't miss a free throw, a guy who shoots 85% from the free throws from the charity stripe, if he does not miss that free throw, North Carolina State doesn't make the NCAA tournament. They get out kicked. They get out on the first game of the ACC tournament. They'll make it to the NCAA tournament. They have a 14-loss season. Kevin Keats is on the hot seat. He might be getting replaced depending on what's out there. And it's just
all because of a missed free throw.
all because of a missed free throw. It's just amazing how like the turns can table.
That's for sure.
And the tables can turn. But yeah, it's just that's what March is. You can't get that from anywhere else. That would not happen in college football. That would not happen in the NBA. That would not happen in hockey. Like that's what makes the tournament so special that you get in NC State.
Okay, so JJ, so we're down to 4 teams. We're gonna spend some time talking about these 4 teams: UConn, NC State, Alabama, Purdue, Big East, ACC, SEC, Big Ten. What premier conference is missing?
Well, the best conference in basketball. Perkin Palm, Bart Torvik, and all the advanced
Big
analytics.
12. The Big 12. They were my conference of the year, but they did not produce.
They got hurt at inopportune times.
So let's talk about these 4 games. I mean, these 4 teams. And I looked right before we came on the air, JJ. The odds to win it all, taking a straight up bet, UConn minus 195. So you lay $195 on UConn, you can win $100.
Okay.
Would you take that? Would you lay that $100?
I laid 110, they were minus 110 when I did lay some money. It wasn't 100, but it was 20. I'm honestly surprised that it's not worse odds. I'm surprised you can put $200 and get 100 back because it looked like regardless, unless injury were to occur,
it really does look like UConn is unstoppable.
looks like
Purdue,
they're inevitable.
Purdue plus 200. You lay 100, you get back 300 because you win your 100 back plus 200.
Yeah, I mean, if Donovan Clingan pulled like a Jamal Shed and rolled his ankle, I mean that
could happen. Purdue could win it.
It could, but at the same time, like you're counting on an outlier, an event to happen.
Well, JJ,
I would throw a couple of dollars at it, but I wouldn't throw any real money on Purdue.
NC State plus 1,600. Lay 100, you can win 16.
Now that is the matchup that I do like. NC State, they might be feeling in the vibes from 1983. 41 years ago, they won the championship.
Fly Slammer Jam.
They had to win they beat Houston. They had to win the ACC tournament then to get into the tournament back when it was only 32 teams, and they got in. They won the championship, and that was the impetus to get it to expand to 64. Because if they were like the last, they would not have gotten in had they not won the ACC championship. And same thing this year. NC State would not have gotten in had they not won the ACC championship.
Well, JJ,
what I do like is they have a big man that physically can't be moved. Like Purdue, like Zach Edey and Donovan Cleveland weigh 300 plus pounds because they're 7'2" and 7'4", and they just have a muscle mass where they can just physically move people in ways that I don't think that they would be able to do with DJ Burns, because DJ Burns is he's listed at 6'9". He's probably 6'7", and he has a much lower center of gravity. It would be very hard. It would be than a 7'4" guy and a 7'2" guy. And those guys are legitimately that big, that tall. It'd be harder for them to move him.
Where did he start his college career, Mr. Burns?
He took his redshirt year at Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah, during COVID.
I know Tennessee wish they could have kept him. JJ, if you're feeling lucky and you want to lay $100, if you put it on Alabama to win it all, how much could you win?
Well, I guess you could win 20 times that.
You could win $2,000. So if you want to lay $10 to win 200, take Alabama. But JJ, UConn and Alabama in that game, in the game coming up. What kind of matchup problems will Alabama have?
Well, with Donovan Cleveland, he'll be able to do whatever he wants against Alabama. Pretty much whatever he wants, whenever he wants. But that should hurt them more on the defensive rebounding and on the defensive end than it should on the offensive end, because Alabama takes so many threes. You get a lot more long rebounds, which gives you more opportunity for offensive rebounds. So that's an advantage that Alabama might be able to exploit. But UConn has Newton, who's a first-team All-American, Stephon Castle, who's going to be a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. First, he's won more Big East Players of the Year than Carmelo Anthony, or Big East Freshmen of the Year than Carmelo Anthony, or I can't remember who else. Somebody else that was a one and done. That was a high-profile guy. So they have a lot of talent, and they have a lot of size on the perimeter. They're going to be bigger at every guard spot, I believe. Okay. And obviously, they have more size on the interior as well, with Donovan Cleveland being 7'2".
So who's quicker?
Well, Stephon Castle's going to be the quickest person on the court for UConn. After that, I would say Alabama probably has a little bit more quickness advantages, but Newton's going to be able to keep up. And realistically, Donovan Cleveland is just going to. He's a lot quicker for a 7'2" guy than, say, Zach Edey. Like, his response time and his reflexes, his twitchiness was a lot more evident against. I think Illinois just couldn't do anything at all with him. I think there's a reason why you have to put $700 down to make 100.
Is there any way that Alabama can neutralize UConn's big man?
They can make a lot of threes. They can have a lot of people get really hot on the same day. Okay. I mean, they can live by the three.
And as you said, UConn is 11.5-point favorite in this game. Mm-hmm. And in order to win $100, you got to put down $700 if you're taking UConn. That's a pretty big margin for me. I don't think I want to win $100 that bad that I'm going to have to lay $700. Would you lay the $700 in this game to get 100?
Not currently. Maybe if I was making a lot more money, I would, but not currently, no.
Well, Alabama, if you lay 100, you can win 500.
Yeah, but they'd have to win the game.
I know.
So unless you have someone that's gonna pull a Tanya Harding against one of the UConn players, Donovan Klinger or Stephen Castle or Newton, I don't think that that's a good investment. I think that might as well light.
You know what I like? You know what I like about sports?
Any day, any given Sunday, right?
They don't play the game on paper.
They do.
They play it on the court. That's what I like about it. I tell you what, I'd be more inclined to lay 100 and get 500 than I would to lay 700 and get 100.
Well, if
That's
you
just
laid
me.
700, you would probably get your 100. That's the thing. If you laid 100, you might as well just give that to the nearest homeless person, or just you can give it to anybody that you want. Any charitable
Like
donation.
I said, that's why they play it on the court, and not on paper. JJ, let's look at the other game.
Okay.
NC State. As I said last week, my new favorite team. I said that before they won the Sweet 16 and then the Elite Eight. They're going up against Purdue. They are an 8-point underdog against Purdue. Do they have a shot?
Yeah, they absolutely do have a shot. I mean, they're gonna have to make sure that DJ Burns is gonna be able to establish positioning and not get moved from the spot. And they're gonna have to get lucky with the officiating. The way they officiate Zach Edey, is gonna determine how the game goes.
Let me ask you this question: in the last 4 games, has NC State played above his head, above his talent level?
Not necessarily above their talent level. I think they're probably more locked in.
Okay. Were you which game that NC State won surprised you the most? Was it the Marquette game or the Duke game?
Marquette.
Okay. Both of them surprised me equally. How good is NC State?
They're in the Final Four. One of the best teams in the country, I think.
One of the best in the country. Okay. So their talent level is better than Duke and Marquette, the team that they just beat.
No, I mean, what do you mean by talent level? I think that they're a better team than Duke.
Okay,
and Marquette.
I got you. Well said. So JJ, straight out, if you take NC State, lay 100, you can get 300. In order to get 100 with Purdue, you got to lay 385. Which would you be inclined more to do? Lay the 100 or lay the 385?
I mean, maybe the 100, but probably neither. I would probably just take NC State to cover the 8 points.
Okay,
that's what I would do. I think that's a pretty large spread, and I think NC State is one of the more unique teams that Tennessee is Purdue's going to have to match up with, and I think that they can match up decently well.
Before we get out of here, JJ, how do you rate this Final Four, the matchups and the potential matchup? Would you say it's something that you highly anticipate? Would you rate it either way you want to, grade scale, A, B, C, D, or percentage scale? Like, just how would you rate this Final Four group? Potentials.
I would say the Final Four is a good solid B. I'd say the tournament overall was like an A minus. This Final Four is a nice B. Two 1 seeds, a 4 seed that's never made the tournament, that's never made it to the Final Four, and a 11 seed that hasn't made it to the Final Four in my lifetime, but has won a couple of championships. It's not, as good as the women's side of the bracket, which has, Paige Beckers versus Juju tonight, and then they have Iowa, Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese and LSU.
Okay.
That's going to be highlight television, but that's going to happen before the Final Four. That's happening in the Elite Eight.
Okay, I am so excited about the LSU Iowa game tonight. 7:09, I think, tip off. Who you got in that game?
LSU.
Oh man, I don't know. I'm toss up. I don't know what the point spread is on that.
I know Iowa's a slight favorite. I'm not sure to what degree.
Okay, I think it'll be a good game. But JJ, that's about all I got, man.
Okay.
I will say, I'll say this. The football transfer portals opens up April 16th through the 30th. So we'll be getting ready for that in the NBA draft. But that's me, man.
Absolutely. Hey, it's March.
Pat your chest, JJ.
Wolfpack Suey.
There you go. We out of here.